Good evening, I'm Bo Williams, and welcome to The 7. Let's get a look at the big 7 stories right now. Topping the list, remembering a civil rights advocate and pioneer, Bob Booker. Booker died today at 88. Booker was a Knoxville native and held many titles over the years, including veteran, Knoxville College graduate, and former state legislator. Booker was elected as Knoxville's first black state representative in 1966 and later went on to serve on Knoxville City Council and as the executive director of the Beck Cultural Center.
Mr. Booker helped Knoxville to understand its history, good, bad, indifferent. And so he worked hard continuously to make sure that young people, that adults didn't forget where we've come from, how we've gotten where we are, and to give some inkling of what we needed to do.
Leaders around the area are remembering and honoring Booker tonight, including State Representative Sam McKenzie.
But to be able to stand up at the Capitol and extol his virtues and the things that he did for this state was an honor to me. I stand on his shoulders, literally. His photograph is outside my office when he was here in the state General Assembly as the first African-American elected from the Knox County in the city of Knoxville. So I owe so much more than a debt of gratitude. I owe all that I try to put into public service to folks like Bob Booker. And so he's going to be missed and missed dearly.
Booker was making an impact and receiving accolades for his work in our community up until the very end. Earlier this month, he was awarded an Honorary Doctor of Humanities degree from UT Knoxville. Deborah Porter is the chair of the Martin Luther King Jr. Commemorative Commission and worked with Booker over the years. She says his legacy leaves an important lesson behind.
A wealth of knowledge, and I think that would help us to understand, if you don't know where you've been, you don't know where you're going, as they say. So it would help us, or behoove us, to know our history as well.
Congressman Tim Burchett joining in the chorus of praise for Dr. Booker and sharing something beyond the world of civil rights and politics, mentioned by several people today. Congressman Burchett saying, quote, "Bob was a dear friend who fought for what he believed in. I have one particularly fond memory of Bob when I took Kelly to a honky-tonk, and he dedicated his karaoke song to the two of us as we were standing in the back. He'll be missed, but the impact he made will last in our community," end quote. We also reached out to Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs. In his statement, he says, in part, Mr. Booker was a wealth of knowledge concerning local history. You could tell how much he enjoyed sharing the knowledge. I always looked forward to visiting with him. Go to our website, WAT.com, where you can watch WAT 6 on your side anchor Tirsa Smith's Voices of the Valley profile of Bob Booker. Our next big story for you tonight, a big problem with one of the biggest wireless phone providers. Countless AT&T customers woke up to find their phones stuck in emergency mode. The company spending the day scrambling to fix the outage, and now, well, federal regulators are investigating. Back here at home, we wanted to know what this meant for Knox County's E911 center.
Getting phone calls in obviously is one way that it can affect, and also some providers or some agencies rely on AT&T or Verizon, whoever. Any kind of outage may hinder them in their response for data and everything, but radios are functioning. Everything is functioning as planned. There may just be some data that we have to transmit over the radio instead of on the computer.
We were told that emergency service centers like the Knox County Emergency Communications have backups in case of an outage like this that could impact them. Just so you know, if your phone says SOS, you can still call 911 if needed. The state of Alabama recently declared that a fertilized, unimplanted embryo is considered a child. That has since prompted now 2 Alabama hospitals to pause in vitro fertilization treatments. Here in Knoxville, the National Embryo Donation Center agrees with Alabama's ruling that an embryo should be considered as a child, but they also realize the implications of the decision. The center's medical director says embryos require extreme caution while handling them, and like many other situations, accidents can happen. He also says limiting the number of embryos made could help with this ruling.
I'd really recommend that couples, if they're going to go through IVF or any type of assisted reproduction, talk to their physician about this and decide, do I really want to try to inseminate all of these eggs and get as many embryos as I can when, for example, I might only want to have one more baby? And the answer to that in most cases is going to be no. And there are other alternatives out there available that couples can talk to their docs about as well.
Although the center is a national organization, Dr. Keenan does not foresee the ruling having a major impact on their clients. However, this ruling could make its way to the Supreme Court. The head of Knox County Schools celebrating more top-performing schools and a year of progress for the system as a whole. Earlier in the week, we told you about Knox County Schools earning the satisfactory designation in the latest round of state accountability ratings. You know, last time around, the designation was in need of improvement. And you might remember how at the time, Superintendent Dr. John Reiswick called that designation unacceptable. Reiswick responding with the launch of a community engagement plan and pushing to improve chronic absenteeism. Well, some schools making strong gains. 24 are now being honored with the reward designation, the highest ranking. This is a significant increase, up from 9 since the 21-22 school year. One of those reward schools, Ritta Elementary, serving as the backdrop this morning as Superintendent Reiswick thanks students, parents, and staff for their hard work in pulling the scores up.
I knew we could do better, and together with a number of our community partners, some who are here today, we vowed to do better. While I'll never be satisfied with satisfactory, I know we're more than capable of earning the status of exemplary one day.
2 school systems in our area managed to hit that exemplary mark this year: Rogersville City and Sweetwater City Schools. Tennessee School for the Deaf in South Knoxville was also rated as exemplary. A link to the full list of district and school level accountability marks is posted on our website. Check it out, WATE.com. Next, we're getting a look at the latest language for Governor Bill Lee's big priority bill, expanding school vouchers statewide. We're also seeing some of the discord between House and Senate Republicans and the governor. The governor's education voucher scholarship is out. It would establish a scholarship of about $7,000 for any student who wants to attend a private school starting in 2025, with a limited rollout in 2024. The funding would come outside Tennessee's TISA model, which funds public schools. It also included no accountability measures like third grade retention. Not long after the governor's amendment came out, lawmakers released a separate amendment in the Senate. It includes accountability measures while also using Tennessee's TISA public school funding model to pay for those vouchers.
Accountability, I think, is critical because, frankly, 3 to 5 years from now, we need to say, how's it working and what are the results? We need to show it. Candidly, we didn't have legislation from the governor, so we hadn't seen it. And so let's start crafting what we think would be the best policy for the state.
You're going to see us do a lot of things that teachers have been asking about, that Leader Lambert has talked about, things that the school systems have talked about, and things that superintendents have talked about on funding mechanisms and funding models. So I think you'll see it's an all-encompassing approach from us. It's not just about choice, it is about K through 12 education.
They're trying to use all those things not to benefit our public schools or to benefit teachers. They're trying to buy votes.
We are expecting the House to release its version of the bill pretty soon, if not within the next few days. Lawmakers say they expect the bill to take about 6 weeks to weave its way through the legislature. Our next Big 7 story, the ongoing effort to deal with the opioid crisis. Today, the Metro Drug Coalition held its 7th annual East Tennessee Opioid Conference, covering a range of topics about the ongoing opioid crisis. Hundreds of people showed up in Lenoir City for today's event, all with the common goal of learning about the problem and how they may be able to help those who need it most. One of the big topics discussed today was how doctors are now treating pain without the use of opioids. Dr. James Chu with Pain Consultants of East Tennessee says he uses non-opioid procedures instead of writing prescriptions for opioids.
Modulation, there's orthobiologics, there's many other kind of minimally invasive spinal devices that are being used. There's so much in this space. And it's really exciting for me to be able to talk about those things to the community, to give them hope for a non-opioid alternative.
Dr. Chu hopes that procedures like these will similarly help in the addiction world. We were also told by Chris Thomas from the Knox County Regional Forensics Center that the number of opioids used by 15 to 24-year-olds has increased.